people say that all good things must come to an end, and that's what happened to the XFL, baby. For better or for worse, the XFL is going under. There's a lot of things not working out right now, and we're all just going to be able to celebrate it and talk about it. I swear, Blake, these intros have really sounded the same the last few weeks, just nothing going right.
Yeah, I mean, what can you expect with all this Rona stuff going on? Got to persevere, though. Got to keep up the positivity in this crazy time.
Hey, once again, that's a motto, though, for the foreseeable future for sure, is don't expect anything nice. Don't get your hopes up, and just expect nothing good to happen. I'm sorry.
Snap out of
but
it, man.
I'm going to try to. Here, watch this. Live on show. You won't be able to see us on audio, but you might be able to hear it. There we go. I'm awake now. This is a Fourth and Long podcast, everyone. This is episode 32. I'm Ross Allen. This is Blake Campbell. And let's get into the not so fun reality of the world we're currently in. We're going to start things off, guys, with the XFL announcing that they're shutting down. They announced this on April 10th. They terminated all employees and said they were likely not going to return in 2021. I didn't want to believe it then. I'm getting a lot closer to believing it now, just because as of yesterday, April 13th, the XFL has officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They're broke, and they're pretty much admitting that they're done and they're essentially selling the league. So, with all this being said, I just want to, if this is really the end of the XFL, if this is the second time that the XFL has gone under, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the XFL. I'm Blake, in the honor of this, in the ode to the XFL, I want to say what we're most thankful for, okay? Because I'm thankful for, I just want to give out a shout out to Oliver Luck, one of the shortest tenured football league commissioners of all time. But at the same time, he did better than Roger Goodell, without a doubt. Oliver Luck did something amazing for all of us fans and also to NFL hopefuls, players as well. They gave players a second chance. Over 20 former XFL players have signed NFL contracts. That is awesome. They successfully experimented with new rules that may be moving the game forward. We had stuff like the kickoff rule, which is, I think that their version of the kickoff, I think that is going to be adopted by the NFL sometime soon, because it was a great compromise of keeping the kickoff, one of the most exciting plays in football. They kept it alive, and they kept it exciting still, because we even had Blake Fury Battlehawks. They're the one that scored a kickoff return on a reverse return, That was amazing. And so they kept that play, but they limited injuries, and they limited head trauma, and they limited the big impacts that happen. And so I think that's a great rule. One of the rules I'm really sad that we weren't able to see a version of was the overtime, because we never had overtime. I really wanted to watch that shootout version over overtime, because I think it would work well. It would work well in football. It's great in hockey. And it would have been something cool to see for sure. But most importantly, man, we had football when we normally wouldn't have had football. We were able to watch exciting and meaningful and entertaining games in the time between the Super Bowl and the draft, which is something that's normally like the deadest period of the NFL during the whole year. And we had something to fill that gap. Emphasis on had. Blake, man, what do you miss? What are you going to miss most about the XFL?
I think the thing that I'm going to miss the most is just the ability for them to kind of experiment. They're able to, kind of be at the cutting edge of a lot of, like we were talking about, rule changes, even commentary, having people have mics on all the time, coaches, listening to their play calls, listening to the quarterbacks call their plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to definitely be something that we were just kind of scratching the surface of, and we're not going to really be able to get more into that because the NFL is they're never going to go that route. That's just not possible.
It's not the NFL.
Right. So, and then also I really like the transparency again with the referees. You got to see them in the process of making a call, talking it out, rehashing the details. So I think there was a lot of really good pieces that are going to be missed that the XFL was bringing forward. So hopefully the NFL can take a few of their ideas and implement them, because man, the XFL, they may not have had, in my opinion, I think what hurt the XFL the most, it was just the quality of quarterback play.
Yeah, there's like two
outside of
three
Teamu,
good quarterbacks.
TJ Walker, and then every other
Josh
quarterback
Johnson,
had like maybe one decent game. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They had their decent game. Cardale Jones. But I think that was really the big letdown, is that people were expecting more high caliber offenses. They were expecting worse defenses. And, the casual fans, which were probably the main audience that they were trying to capture with this, they want to see points. They don't want to see defensive battles, 3-6, 3-10. They want to see 48-39. They want to see a big scoring, large points on the scoreboard. So I think the XFL, long story short, they brought innovation, and it's going to be missed. Even though they fell a little bit short of on the performance side, I think that there was a lot of room to grow, and not every avenue was exhausted yet. So it's just a shame. But another thing too, this just highlights the fact that McMahon was running the show through and through. He had, let me see, I think I have the numbers up here right here. I think he had 76.5% of the Class B shares, and he had 100% of the Class A shares for the XFL. So he was fronting a lot of money for this, and he was taking huge hits. Not to mention, in this article that I'm reading, it's on Newsweek.com. It also lists the fact that the WWE, their shares, about a month or two before the season started for the XFL, they dropped by the shares for the WWE.
They tanked.
Dropped by 30% per share.
That was before that. They were having a lot of controversy in like the kind of like the higher ups and the higher management of WWE is what was going on. That's what tanked. But Vince McMahon, good point on that. That's the only reason I have any bit of hope left that we might somehow see the XFL return for a third time is because it's ran by Vince McMahon. That's his pet project. That's his baby. And this is something that he really wants to succeed. And we all know that if Vince McMahon, he's a crazy son of a bitch. And if he really wants something to happen, that guy can make it happen. So that's the only reason I might have a sliver of a hope, is because it's Vince McMahon. And you never doubt him.
Vince McMahon or another rich dude that can come in and buy it from him. Because I heard he is kind of looking for a buyer.
I think that's what they're talking about with the when they filed for bankruptcy. They were looking for someone to possibly buy that league up. And if someone has the money to revitalize it and to keep it going, I'm all for it. Like, here we go. Well, we all know they're a couple buddies, right? And we all know this guy has the cash. You all know who's going to be the next owner of the XFL?
Who?
Good old Donald J. Trump.
I don't know about that.
Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not.
I don't think the president can't own an XFL team or a XFL league.
Don't want to get political, but probably in 4 years he might be able to have the chance. Man, but all I want to say is thank you to the XFL. Blake, you touched on great points with the innovation. The innovation was its best part. I loved being able to see the replay officials with their Xbox controllers and hear them talking through the calls with everyone, hearing the refs in the huddle, be able to hear their conversations. I love the live interviews right after plays. You gotta love dudes dropping F-bombs on live TV, on live national TV. You can't beat it. And
that's going to be missed.
that's something we'll never see in the NFL, which is
directly interviewing a player directly after they just made a horse crap play.
It's a shame, man. It really is a shame.
It was great. It was like they were actively trying to troll players.
Oh,
whether they meant to or
100%.
not, I'm not sure, but
100% they were.
It was just great. It was
if you were not trying to troll a player, you wouldn't go up to them literally 20 seconds after they threw an interception that cost them the game.
So what were you thinking
or a
there?
Kick?
Yeah, misses the kick. Oh, so you were 15 yards out. What happened there? How'd you miss that?
Hey man, you just missed a kick that would have won you guys the game. Why do you suck so much? And how much do your teammates hate you now?
Dude's just clenching his fist.
Lips
are quivering.
We never got to see a reporter get smacked with a helmet.
I don't know. A couple of offensive linemen look pretty close.
No, as long as they're staying away from Myles Garrett, he'll be good.
Yeah, that's an offensive lineman's worst enemy right there.
Yeah. I do still want to hold out hope. It might be just really unhealthy amounts of optimism, but I think the XFL will be back eventually. I don't know when. It might be next year. It might be in 2 years. It might be in another. Was it 20 years again? No, 1999. Yeah. So 20 years. So who knows, man? Who really knows? But going from football, let's stay with it. Let's talk NFL, dude. Possible rule changes are coming to the NFL next season. Their competition committee is going to be looking into some stuff. This is rules brought up by the committee itself or by other teams that they want the NFL to explore. So some of these rules include, by the competition committee, they want to expand the defenseless player protection to kickoff or a punt returner who is in possession of the ball, but has also not had the time to avoid or ward off the impending contact of an opponent. They also want to look into preventing teams from manipulating the game clock by committing multiple dead ball fouls while the clock is running, a.k.a. they really are sick and tired of Bill Belichick's crap. They want him to stop playing with the rule book.
Well, not only that, but they're tired of his disciples doing it back to him, too. Shout out Mike Vrabel. Excuse me, Mike Vrabel.
Thank you. The mad lad himself, Mike Vrabel. Philadelphia Eagles have suggested some rules as well. They want to modify the blindside block rule to prevent unnecessary fouls. Big fan of that because I think the current rule is kind of lame. You can barely tap someone, but if you're not going with the play, if you're turning around, going towards the opposite end zone, it's a 15-yard flag no matter what. And that's the dumbest thing. It really is. I really don't like that rule. That's also not the only rule I despise. The Eagles also suggesting making permanent of the expansion of automatic replay reviews to include scoring plays and turnovers negated by a foul and any successful or unsuccessful try attempt. They also want to provide an alternative to the onside kick that would allow a team who is trailing in the game an opportunity to maintain possession of the ball after scoring. So this would be a 4th and 15 from the kicking team's 25-yard line. This is a rule that has been thrown up in the past. Hasn't really been looked into much. They're going to look into this due to the Eagles whine. This would be looked at. Then they also want to restore preseason and regular season overtime to 15 minutes, and they want to implement rules to minimize the impact over the overtime coin toss. I think that's an interesting one right there. It was confusing why they went from 15 to 10 minutes. I like the extra 5 because, personally, I think we've seen too many ties in a regular season football game. Agree?
I don't agree with that. I like 15 minutes. I don't like ties.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's why I like the extra 5.
Oh, yeah. I actually thought that. I think a lot of these are just going to be thrown out.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, just think about the 4th and 15 rule. If Patrick Mahomes or like
I don't
Aaron
like
Rodgers, someone like that. I mean, you're just giving them another shot. Like,
it.
come on,
Oh
Eagles,
man,
think about it. I don't know
I
why
don't
you're
like
so
it.
upset right now. I mean, think about if Tom Brady got one more shot against you guys.
Man, they
It's
should be
just
really worried about that, especially because guys like Rodgers and Brady, they're in the
they're
NFC
in the
now.
division now. So it's just a really strange rule to be brought up by the Eagles. But
Also,
I really like by the competition committee. Uh, I really like them wanting uh, to take a look at that manipulating the game clock. I think that that's just trash.
well, you don't like people being able to take advantage of rules that most people don't know about.
Yeah. I just don't think the game should be able to be that broken down, to where it's like literal seconds are gonna
You
just
know,
be that
uh,
valuable. It
I'm
really
really
just
torn by this because one side, I think like if I was a opposing team, I'd be pretty pissed off that they're able to find this loophole in the rule book. But at the same time, it does impress me when coaches and other players are able to discover these loopholes in the rules that benefit them. Just like I forget who it was, but there's this Green Bay Packers kick returner a number of years back. He was receiving a kickoff and he was really close to the sideline. And so what he did, it was a tumbling ball. He put his 2 feet out of bounds, then touched the ball while the ball was in bounds, and that made the ball out of bounds technically, so they got a ticket at their 40-yard line. It's little loopholes like that. I think they're genius. To be honest, that's just really high football IQ. But at the same time, I could really understand why people want that kind of stuff out of the game. You know,
yeah, it's just too much. Like
I
it should
I
just
get
be
it.
football.
Just play some foosball, man. What happened to that? There's no thinking, just hit, right? What was
Absolutely.
it? If you're thinking during your play, you're doing it wrong. And actually, that's something that you're taught, which is it's actually really true. If you haven't played the game, it sounds stupid, but if you've played the game of football, you know exactly what it means. See, the Miami Dolphins, they also are suggesting the rule of providing the option to the defense for the game clock to start on the referee's signal if the defense declines an offensive penalty that occurs late in either half. It's kind of vague with the occurs late. That could mean the last 5 minutes. Could that just mean the 2 minute warning? That's what I would assume. It would just be for the 2 minute warning. Man, I don't know. It seems that
It's a good
seems a
idea
little
though.
nitpicky.
I like it.
You do?
I think that's a decent idea, but we'll see if the other teams like that.
Hey, what I do like though,
I
two
think
rules I
that's one
yeah
of those rules, dude, where it's really hard. Those on the fence suggestions,
yeah it I don't know. I think
because
going
most
back to
people
your
are just
point,
gonna stick with the status quo.
exactly.
Creatures of
It,
habit.
if it's something that tiny too, they're probably just not even going to put that much time and effort into really
Especially
debating
because,
over it.
yeah, because you don't know. Like each year, it could be different story. One
Hmm.
year that rule change really could benefit you. The next year, if that rule change didn't happen, you might have had 3 or 4 more wins. Who knows?
You mean the pass interference call that you could challenge it? You mean that kind of thing? No, no.
No.
A couple rules I do like though, and some that were suggested by the Baltimore Ravens and the Los Angeles Chargers. They're talking about adding a booth umpire as an eighth game official to the officiating crew, and this is something similar to what the AAF had. Actually, they had the eye in the sky. They had a official in the booth that could call for a replay on any play. And that was one of the few things that I agreed with. And man, I think that'd be a good addition. I don't think there's anything wrong with having an extra set of eyes on the game to call out the mistakes that the on-field refs may be making.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite. The two rules that were the two rule changes that were suggested by the Ravens and the Chargers are probably my favorite out of this whole proposal list. An eighth, more officials. That's just a good look. It's going to
Hmm.
benefit them. It's just going to catch more things that possibly they don't catch, and just another voice of reason in a in a hot crazy situation that might be brewing on the field. and then adding a senior technology advisor to the referee to assist the officiating crew. And
Pretty much
again,
to help the old bums
yeah,
trying to run the game.
yeah, I think there's nothing bad comes from that.
No, also with that one, it takes a little less stress and weight off the shoulders of the refs that are actually trying to call the game. It lets them put more focus into just seeing what they see on the field and not have to worry about any other things besides actually watching the play, you know?
Yeah, I think those should probably go through no problem.
That's healthy.
I
And
hope they go through no problem.
no, I think those two, especially out of all of them, would be the most beneficial. Some big time money was just dropped for a running back, which is something a lot of people are hesitant about, especially after seeing what Todd Gurley has happened ever since he signed his record breaking contract a few years back. But Christian McCaffrey has signed a new deal that makes him the highest paid running back in NFL history. He signs a 4-year extension with the Panthers, and this is worth about $16 million a year. And this is coming off from a very, very successful first 3 seasons in the league. So a couple ones, he has 2,523 receiving yards, and that's the most ever by a running back. And alongside that, he has 303 catches. That is the second most ever by a running back. And Blake, so what's your thoughts on this contract, man? Overpaid, underpaid? Is it even going to last, really?
I think he's setting the market, which is exactly what the best player at a position should do. I don't think he's being overpaid. I don't think he's being underpaid. I think he's doing exactly what the best player at a certain position is supposed to do year to year. When it's your time when you're a high-level elite player and your contract is up, you're going to get the most money possible because that's your profession, right? It doesn't make sense to me the people that try to put, their wants and their needs over these players. They're trying to provide for their family. They're only here for an average of 3 years. I'm sure everyone's heard the same spiel that I'm giving.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, think about it. Christian McCaffrey, every time that he holds that ball, he's getting hit. And he's getting hit by guys that are 250 pounds plus. He deserves every single penny that he's going to be getting, considering how phenomenal he is with that ball in his hands. He catches, he runs, he blocks.
One of the most dynamic players in the league, without
He can play
doubt.
slot, he can play X, he can play Y, he can play Z, he can play everything. I mean, yeah, give him money. He is their Swiss Army knife. He is their best offensive player. He's worth every single penny, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's rock solid. I think this is the contract he deserves. This is a guy that has been playing out of his mind, and the only success that the Panthers have had over the last season or two, they can all be that success can all be attributed to Christian McCaffrey. He's carrying that team almost single-handedly, man. If they didn't have him, the Panthers would be nothing. They'd be absolutely nothing, especially with the injured Cam Newton, or a Cam Newton that wasn't even playing most of last season as well. What the problem with this, though, is that is it going to last? Is this contract really going to be worth it? Is he still even going to be a Panther at the end of this 4 years? These are some of the contracts you see, especially for guys like running backs, not like franchise players like quarterbacks, but like running backs. A lot of time you see stuff like this. You see big contracts that end up being too much for the team, and these are the kind of contracts that get traded away to other teams so you can get rid of the cap hit, and so you could rebuild with another player, especially a volatile position like the running back. I think the running back position has never really lasted. I read something a number of years ago saying like the average lifespan of an NFL running back was maybe 6 years. Of a good running back was 6 years. That's nothing. Christian McCaffrey's already played 3. With this extra contract, he's going to have 7. So he's going to be going over that average. And with running backs recently, let's look at David Johnson. Let's look at Todd Gurley. These are guys that pretty much were one-hit wonders. And they signed big contracts and never really lived up to that contract, never really lived up to the hype after that one amazing season. Christian McCaffrey has had 3 amazing seasons, especially this most amazing season being the last one. But, man, I got a question. And it might be bold, but I'm just going to say Christian McCaffrey is not going to be finishing this contract as a Panther. He's going to be on a different team before this contract's over. and that might be attributed to the Panthers' lack of maybe trying to find the word, maybe planning, maybe future success. I don't think they'll be able to afford this contract in the few years.
You don't think he's gonna play out this contract?
No, I think they'll trade him away before this contract expires. I think it'll end up being too much of a burden on that team. I really do.
I think you're crazy. You need to wash your mouth out with soap.
You're not the only one that thinks I'm crazy. And it's nothing about Christian McCaffrey as well, because, man, I love Christian McCaffrey. I was on the hype train ever since he left Stanford, when he was still with Stanford, when he has the Pac-12 career record for yards from scrimmage. There's a lot of guys saying, oh, he's undersized. Oh, he's just a quick back. He's not going to be the last in the NFL. I call BS on all those claims, and he's only proving all those haters and all those naysayers wrong. You don't realize how bad I wanted Christian McCaffrey to be somehow drafted by the Broncos, joining Ed McCaffrey, his dad, in Denver. You had no idea how bad I wanted that to happen, but I knew it was unlikely, and ended up being unlikely. But, man, I know Christian McCaffrey's a beast. He's the best running back in the league. He's the best fantasy football player in the league, for those that care about that.
I mean, you bring up good points, but I just don't see why they're going to want to move away from a guy that's going to continue being so solid. Like, you bring up guys that have seen a sharp decline with David Johnson and Todd Gurley, but McCaffrey is just now hitting his prime. He's just now hitting, his peak of performance. Mm-hmm. And so there's no reason for me to think that he's going to be, not finishing this deal out in Carolina. There's no reason.
No, it for me, my point is it's no criticism on Cam Newton, or Christian McCaffrey.
No, I'm not criticizing him.
No. All the criticism is, I'm just saying that the franchise, the Panthers, they're just going to screw it up.
There's just no reason.
I don't have faith in the Panthers.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
There's no reason for the Panthers to want to even try to get rid of him. Do you understand? Like, he is the face of their franchise, Ross. They're not going to trade away the face of their franchise when they're in Carolina.
I don't trust the Panthers.
Cam Newton is no longer in Carolina. Until they get another guy that is on McCaffrey's level, McCaffrey is going nowhere. He is untouchable. He is their Michael Jordan.
We all thought that for Cam Newton, and we see how quickly that relationship declined. And Blake, I'm okay with that, dog. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think that is ludicrous that you think that they would trade away their cash cow.
I wouldn't put it past him.
How many white running backs are in the NFL, Ross?
Are we counting fullbacks?
No. How many white running backs are in the NFL?
Off the top of my head, I think there's I can name one.
Which is?
Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. So we can go to the next subject now.
Next subject. What does this mean for Alvin Kamara? Alvin Kamara is about to get paid now, is what this means. He's probably not going to be making as much as Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it just means that he's going to get it too.
Raise his contract a little bit, though.
I mean, it gives him a talk. If anything, I think it creates more of a conflict. I don't think that it was. If you're a Saints fan, the numbers that came out for McCaffrey's deal, you didn't like that.
No. Same thing like the damn it
Le'Veon Bell.
No, not like, I can't believe I forget his name right now. The tight end that went from the Falcons, who's now playing with the Browns. Him signing that record-breaking contract, and saying the new market. This is similar to how Niner fans should have felt for George Kittle, because Niners got to pay a heavy, heavy price to keep George Kittle next year. And so they're kind of the same situation for Saints fans looking at Christian McCaffrey getting paid with Alvin Kamara coming up on the contract year. Same situation. It's not good for the Saints, not good for the Niners are not.
But he's under contract this season, isn't he? He's not getting re-signed before this year. Yeah, so they're good.
It's for after next season.
Yeah, same that's totally fine.
They both have one more contract left on their
Kamara's already
on contract.
Kamara's already on the decline. So if I was a Saints fan, I wouldn't be too worried about it. You get one more year to kind of kick the wheels on him and see if he's going to be worth an extension. But you don't know. I mean, at that point, you really don't know. Because Kamara, he looked kind of pedestrian last year compared to the year before.
Injuries didn't help, but he did not have as good of a season last year.
This is a big prove it
can't
year.
debate that.
Big prove it year.
Huge. I think it's a big prove year for the Saints as a whole. Can they get past that bump in the playoffs? Can they? Because we all know they can make playoffs, but can they go over that proverbial hump of the wild card or the divisional round and make it back to the championship round without some sort of heartbreak happening to the Vikings?
Yep.
That's what it comes down to, man.
Need a defensive stud. That's what they need.
See, what about the Colts? They just released a new secondary logo, and they kind of updated the uniforms. They threw a different font on there. But the new secondary logo, they kept the horseshoe design. They flipped down inside to make it look like a C, and they had the state of Indiana in the middle. You didn't like this, did you?
No, I like the idea,
Mm-hmm.
but just the way that the C looks, I don't know. It just looks kind of crummy to me. I don't really like the shape of it. But
Yeah,
I do like the idea, though. I think the idea is really cool.
there's a lot of teams, man. Teams now more than ever really want the secondary logo going. I mean, it does help that they're able to get that second helmet, but this is a logo that I don't want to see on any piece of uniform. We have to talk about the Colts too, because that Colts uniform is one of the most historic and one of the most traditional uniforms in the league, and I think it's honestly, it's one of my favorite uniforms to see because it's clean, it's basic,
Simple.
but it looks good. It looks good. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the new numbers look fine. It's a subtle change. It's really not that big of a deal. This is secondary logo. You're probably going to see it get thrown on some merchandise. It could make for a nice hat design, maybe a nice hoodie. Put on a t-shirt, you know?
I'm a big fan of the secondary logo designs. I think every fan should be a big supporter of that, because you just get more stuff. You get more gear to wear. You get more.
What about
more
this?
swag?
Like, this logo, the secondary logo, a nice gray hat.
What do you mean?
Secondary logo on a gray hat. I think it will look good. I don't know. That's some money right there. That's some cash money
For the Colts.
For the Colts. That'd be a nice hat. It was fun. See, if the Broncos want to make more new age hats, new modern hats with that retro D logo on there, man, I'd buy that in a heartbeat if I actually had the money. That's the one problem, man. I like it though. I think they're nice looks. It's a good look, and man, it's gonna make them some money. It's for branding. It's only for branding. Come on now. It's nothing major. So
yeah, but news. I mean, I don't understand the people that cry about that stuff.
Yeah,
you just get more stuff. You just right? Like I said, you just get more stuff to wear, more choices.
Who doesn't like choices, man? We're all about choices here on Fourth and Long.
It's like you just get to grow your collection. I actually think it's kind of cool. The only thing that I didn't like is when we switched from Reebok to Nike. That was kind of weird. But then I ended up liking it a lot better because Nike's way cooler than Reebok. So
I was always as a kid I was a big Reebok guy because they really made they had the wide cleats. I had big ass feet and I needed the wide cleats, and there's really only Reebok that carry those. Then they kind of stopped making them, and I had to go to get some Nikes, but I just had to buy like some size 16 Nikes to actually fit my feet. Do you know how hard it is to find size 16 Nikes, Blake?
You just got to get them custom made, boss.
Bro, you want to know how expensive that is.
Hey, you got to pay the price.
I'm good. I'm a cheap ass man. The NFL, bro, but they're weird because now they're thinking about and they're agreeing to having virtual OTAs. These OTAs, they're starting April 20th and they go until May 15th. So a few weeks. They're having a virtual period for this, mostly classroom stuff, but they may also include virtual workouts as well. It's not really that big of a thing, but man, it's just kind of weird the times we're living in, huh?
Yeah, and just to go off a little bit of what you're talking about, the league also signed off on teams being able to send their players equipment up to $1,500 worth of equipment, I believe it was, or they could just send them a check for $1,500 and say, go buy this, buy that. But I think it's pretty cool.
There's some players that you might trust with that check, but there's other players that you just want to send them just the equipment, huh?
Sure, but I mean, at the end, it'd probably be up to their discretion regardless.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good little thing they got going on. The OTAs, you're still going to be able to get your classwork stuff introduced to them, the playbooks, and get the installs going.
That's what this not mandatory thing is for mostly. It's a lot of big time for the rookies to learn that playbook, learn the hell out of that playbook, because that's one of the most important things you can do.
This is really where you're going to see the benefit of having certain guys in your locker room, certain guys that you can count on to take guys under their wing. That okay, even though coaches aren't around, we can't go to the facility. They're still working. We know they're still getting their stuff done. So I think that them still being able to do virtual OTAs is a big deal, even though it's weird and it's not normal and it's going to be new territory for all the teams. I still think it's going to benefit, and it's nice that they're making it work however they can.
With all that's going on, you just got to throw it back to the one good Bear Grylls meme. Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Absolutely.
NFL's just making do. Speaking of Todd Gurley, though, from a couple topics ago, Todd Gurley said yesterday that he did not get Deion Sanders' blessing to wear the number 21. I mean, he wasn't really. I guess he wanted to switch to 21, kind of represent going back to Atlanta, his hometown, really trying to make a splash, bringing that number back. But, hey, shout out to Deion. Most of these guys will let the players wear their old numbers, but shout out to Deion for not letting anyone wear it. I respect that, to be honest.
So did Deion actually come out and say that he did not want him to wear it?
No, Todd Gurley said this all from Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley said that he reached out to Deion Sanders and Deion Sanders, yes, and asked him, and Deion Sanders declined.
Yeah, so he did. So Deion Sanders said no.
Yes,
I didn't hear that. That's crazy.
Right?
Deion needs to get over himself. I think that's the most crazy thing. I really do. So? I don't understand the whole retiring of numbers deal. I don't get it.
Man. See, his teams run into problems like that because the Yankees, I think they have like 20 numbers retired. Something stupid.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I understand it for like the most impactful people of the franchise. Like, I understand if we're talking Yankees, I understand Babe Ruth. I understand guys like Derek Jeter. I get that. But I feel like teams are starting to kind of have that. They start to throw out retiring numbers a little too loose,
Yeah. I just
diluting it.
I don't like it. I don't think that one number should belong to one player. That just seems just kind of stupid to me.
That's a fair take. See, what Bleacher Report did a few days back, they had George Kittle on for a live AMA. It's always fun to tune in these because you see players a little more candid, and they're a little more open, a little more kind of like giving a little more insight. And then a great question came up. Some fan asked George Kittle for his top 5 tight ends ever. And in response, George Kittle gave his top 5 with Gronk, Gonzalez, Clark, Kelsey, and Gates. And no offense to him, but I got to disagree on one point. I got to disagree a little bit because no disrespect to Dallas Clark. Maybe a little disrespect to Travis Kelsey. I still, it's the Chiefs. But, and don't call me Homer, but Shannon Sharp is better than Dallas Clark and Travis Kelsey.
I don't know about that.
You don't. No, he's not. Shannon Sharp did not have a better career than Travis Kelsey has so far. Can you really say that? Can you really say that, Blake?
Can you really say that you would, like, in their prime, you would rather have Travis, like, would you rather have Shannon Sharp on your team or Travis Kelsey?
I'd rather have that Broncos Shannon Sharp.
Wow. Interesting. See, what I was thinking was kind of surprising is that they're leaving off Jason Witten. I was thinking that he was kind of up there too.
Jason Witten, if you guys check the article, I did have Jason Witten as one of my top 5 biggest snubs from the NFL All-Decade team. I think he's right there like number 6. I think he just misses.
He's a fringe player. He's very fringe.
He's really good, but he's just not quite one of these 5 or 6 guys.
But that goes with like all the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be the argument with all of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I
It comes
do
with the
agree
personal
with the
preference.
bulk of it. Like Gronk,
Yes.
hell yeah. Gonzalez,
Dominant
hell
as
yeah.
hell. Tony Gonzalez was
And
amazing. Antonio
and
Gates,
Antonio Gates, hell yeah. Like Gronk,
ridiculous.
Gonzalez, and Gates are all hell yeahs for me. Like
Yes.
those guys, those are three guys that you cannot argue about their place.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like
if you
they're
do
on
argue
Mount
against
Rushmore.
him, you're on crack.
Yeah, because I mean, those guys literally all changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Gronk before injuries, man. Him and
He was
Hernandez. Like, sorry to
scary.
bring up Hernandez, but man, him and
Hey, no,
Hernandez. I
we're only
hate the
talking about
Patriots.
on-field killers. Man.
I hate the Patriots. I'm a Raider fan, so Tuck rule till I die. I'll remember that. But that team with Gronk and Hernandez, with Hernandez coming in as a running back sometimes, doing some crazy stuff out of the backfield.
Stupid.
That was just the most craziest thing for me to see. Like, man.
But Gronk was always that mismatch because you couldn't put a linebacker on him because he was too fast. You couldn't put a DB on him because he's way too big and strong. You had to every play you had to at least have a linebacker or cornerback and have a big safety over the top to have a chance.
You had to have someone ready to literally take his head off or blow his knee out. That's the only way you had a chance to stop him.
Which is what happened. That's what the Broncos did in that 2015-16 season when you had the Broctagon lead the Broncos to victory in Denver in overtime. Just want to bring that up because that's one of my favorite games of all time. But that's what they did. They actually took Gronk out of the game by going low and taking out his knees. It might be sound a little rude, but the only way to stop Gronk is you got to injure him. Straight up.
I mean, you want to hate on the guys that injure him, but at the same time, like, what do you want them to do? You want them to go tackle him in the chest? Like, guys are going to get CTE from doing that.
You can't beat him up. He's going to run your ass over. And you have to go low because to only have a chance to take him out, you got to take out his legs. But then if you go low, people criticize you for aiming for the knee. It's a lose-lose for anyone trying to tackle Rob. I think it's a good list. Besides, I think Shannon Sharp is a top 5 tight end of all time.
I think everyone's 4 and 5 are going to be different.
Yeah, it's just up to a little personal preference at that point. You can group the last 4 is all phenomenal guys that deserve a spot, and you can all make arguments for them. And you can all make arguments against them. It's just how it is. Blake, man, I wasn't even watching this when you told me about it, but you just DM'd me talking about this awful thing that was going on, and this was NBA's first round of their horse tournament. You want that? It was kind of a joke, right?
Yeah, it wasn't very entertaining. It came on Sunday afternoon at noon, and we started out with, I believe it was Trae Young versus Chauncey Billups. And I knew right at the beginning, like once Chauncey Billups beat Trae Young, I knew this was just going to be a terrible.
Can we focus on that real quick? Chauncey Billups for Trae Young, he was the favorite for this. Trae Young he lost to Chauncey Billups, and he didn't even attempt a range shot. How disappointing and embarrassing is that?
Yeah, he kept saying like the wind was crazy, but still, I mean, it's horse, and some people are playing on like semi-professional, like private gym, like Mike Conley. His private gym is like a community college basketball court, multiple freaking hoops.
I thought he was at a gym, bro.
He wasn't. He has a climate controlled gym at his house.
That's amazing.
That is crazy. Right? So there's definitely some. I feel like it's not level playing field, to say the least, when you got like outdoor conditions going against indoor. Because the girl that he was playing against, man, he was playing against Tamika Catchings. She was outside on a driveway, man, just playing, like her kid was recording and stuff. Like this, Conley probably had like a professional video crew with him.
Yeah, lighting and all that fun stuff. Yeah. He had the boom mic up there.
But I think the most disappointing thing for me with this whole horse tournament was just the quality of shots, like the shot selection, I should say. They just weren't doing anything that was like that interesting. I mean, they go over, shoot a corner 3, go over at the top, shoot a 3, bank it off the backboard. You do a mid-range, J off one leg. It's like, okay, that's cool. Do a behind the backboard, flip over the, backboard. That there was just nothing that wowed me. No full court shots, nothing that was just like no one actually plays horse like that.
No.
Like what we saw on TV, no one plays it like that. You take the most ridiculous shots you can think of, and you don't care if they go in or not. I don't know if they told these guys like, hey, you got to try to make all of these. Only take shots that you think you have a good percentage of making, but that just sucked. I don't care if they miss.
That was the worst part.
Try something. Try something cool. Do something crazy. Like, shout out Zach LaVine. He actually was trying to do a little bit of something cool.
Mm-hmm. Leave it to Zach LaVine. Saving the day.
Right. But he's going against Paul Pierce. So, I mean, come on. Like, no disrespect to Paul Pierce.
Hey, he shut out Paul Pierce. All disrespect to Paul Pierce. Got shut out.
Come on, bro. We could have made this a little bit better, I think.
Well, that's so lame. There's nothing on the line. There's no reason, really, to not just try to make these stupid shots. It's TV. There's nothing else going on. Can you at least try to make this entertaining and something unique and something that we haven't all seen before in an actual NBA game or in practice? Come on, man.
No, that was a failure. But
why are you playing it safe?
Right.
What's on the line?
I will say the only good thing. The only good thing is they can only go up from here.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was pretty much ground zero.
To be better, right? The semifinals have to be better.
I would very much hope so.
If it's not, it's just a little embarrassing.
If anything, at least we just don't have to watch as much. Like, at least it's only 2 matches next weekend instead.
And can we get something that? Can we get a live stream of it that doesn't look like it's being recorded on a graphing calculator, please?
Right, like a potato.
Come on, man! It's 2020. We all have iPhones. These dudes are rich. You're telling me they don't have access to a camera, like a good camera?
And I understand the nonchalant, like, kind of candid conversation that you're trying to, push during the competition. But why are we gonna break the flow of the competition and just ride his dudes about to, spot up and shoot his shot? Oh, hey, could you come over here for a second? Yeah, I could talk to you about something. And then just ask him some ridiculous question that just totally takes away from what we're trying to watch right now. Like, are we interviewing these players or are we watching a competition? Because I really don't know.
I understand what they were trying to do. I understand what they were the feeling they were trying to make and the goals that they had. All I'm saying is that they didn't live up to it and it wasn't well executed.
An easy solution to that last scenario I described? Why don't you just get the guy that's not shooting currently and have his voice?
Oh, wait. Dude, I think that's way too complex of an idea, and there's no feasible way of actually making that happen.
Stupid. But I mean, it's got to be pretty difficult to pull off, though. I will give them that because you're gonna have a bunch of different people from different areas, coming in and broadcasting that all at once. It's got to be kind of a hassle.
But at the same time, it is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, you have enough money.
It's NBA. It's like ESPN too, right?
Like, if this is what you're going with now, and this is the product you're pushing, you gotta make it better.
Come on, all you guys got billions in the bank, and you can't give me a good live stream for horse? Come on now. Come on now. I don't get it. I think that first round is a failure. They can redeem themselves in the semifinals, but I'm not looking. I wasn't looking forward to it.
Not looking forward to it.
Before.
Wasn't even looking forward to it this past week.
No. I didn't even know what was going on. That's how little I cared.
I just looked up my clock sports, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. Horse is about to be on. I guess I'll watch it while I play Animal Crossing."
I want sports, bro, but not like this. Not like this. Some sad news coming out of the NHL, at least from one guy. Big star of the league, probably the best player on the LA Kings is Drew Doughty. And he thinks that the NHL season is done. He gave up some sound bites over the weekend, and he was just citing stuff like uncertainty and uncertainty of how the logistically it's going to work. You got teams like the San Jose Sharks in their Santa Clara County. They won't be able to have home games. They're likely not going to have home games through November of this year. And that goes all the way into next season. So it's not looking likely. the NHL has also recently extended their self-quarantine suggested period until April 30th, which is only making the season at even larger risk, you could say. But one of the bigger things that we need to talk about is with the postponement of the league. So let's say that they somehow get hockey back May. Let's be somewhat, probably not realistic at all, but I guess somewhat optimistic and say May. They have 18 games left. They have about 15 to 18 games left, and playoffs take about a month. Normally, the season runs through June. By the time you get the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, if it goes that far. And so then realistically, I guess you end in July, maybe August, and that gives you a month, month and a half, 2 months in most between the end of this season and the beginning of next season. And at that point, logistically, it doesn't make sense. You can't have an off season in 2 months, especially in a brutal, brutal sport like hockey, you know?
Yeah, it's not looking good for the NHL.
The problem is, man, do you just not have a Stanley Cup champion this year?
That's the toughest question. I mean, the same question is being asked to the NBA. I think.
Do you just not have a champion this year?
I think that's the easiest solution. It's the hardest, easiest solution to make. And by hardest, right. I mean it's going to be the hardest for people to say yes, okay, we all sign off on that. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be the easiest because at least there's no loose ends.
No, if you just cancel the season now, you could just say, nope, the season's over. We're not doing anything else. Then problem solved, technically.
Right.
But no fan is going to want it. Almost no player is going to want it, especially in a sport like hockey. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The Stanley Cup is the hardest championship to win in all of professional sports, or in any sports, I guess. Just for the grind it is. It's 20. You have to win 28 games, you have to win 16 brutal hockey games. And it for how long the hockey tenuous and strenuous that the hockey season is. It's 82 games, just like the NBA. But we can all agree that it's harder to play hockey than it is to play basketball, in terms of physicality, at least. And you gotta feel bad for the players putting it all out on the line. NBA players too. They're putting so much effort and so much. They're putting a lot of time into this, and the goal for all these guys is that championship. And we just might not be able to name one, and that's a shame. It's a shame to these players. There's not much we can do about it, but at the same time, I do have to feel really bad for them if this is what's going to happen, you know?
Yep.
Poor guys. See, baseball, though. Moving on to some baseball news. They are making some contingency plans. We spoke about the plan of possibly MLB being back in May. It's probably not going to happen. It just from just from being realistic about it, I guess. So the MLB, quick little bite about them. They are looking into playing overseas now. So instead of just going down to Arizona, they are looking into actually going overseas to Japan. Japan's a big baseball country. Japan's one of the countries that are also being affected huge by this because they love their baseball. When I was in Japan, I was just playing a baseball video game, and I had Ichiro Suzuki on my team. And just from a little iPhone app baseball game with Ichiro on it, they were going crazy over him. It's insane. Ichiro is a god over there, and they love their baseball. And so they really want this back. They're one of the hardest working leagues trying to get baseball back. And so they might ship the MLB out there and have games in front of no people and just have a place to quarantine everyone, essentially is what it is. But I don't think it's a good choice going to Asia. Kind of near the epicenter where this whole damn thing started, right?
Yeah. I don't know why you'd want to do it. It just seems like it's more of a hassle than just
might as well just not baseball.
Playing the waiting game.
Exactly. I don't think it might be worth it, but who knows? I'm not the one putting millions of dollars into research right now. I'm not an MLB.
Right. We're not the ones looking at all the expenses.
Right. Man, it's some really interesting, you can say intriguing, you can say downright weird is what the Taiwan's baseball is doing. So Taiwan baseball league in Taiwan, they've become the first baseball league to begin play through all this. They're playing in front of mostly empty stadiums, and I say mostly empty because there's no fans, there's no non-essential personnel in the stadium. What there is, Blake, what there is in those stands is mannequins and cardboard cutouts dressed up as fans.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm sorry. It's weird. It's creepy as hell.
I mean, as a player, I don't know if I'd rather see that in the stands or if I'd rather just see nothing. I think I'd rather just see nothing.
I'd rather just play it from no one. It's going back to like those older like MLB, NBA, and NFL games where it has like the 2D people in the stands with that one animation or none at all.
Just doing the fist pumps.
Doing the fist bump or doing the stand up and sit down super quick like a lot of Madden games do. You have this really synchronized clapping that the whole stadium does at the same time. Really weird stuff. And man, I don't think you've seen the video of this yet, right? Of the mannequins.
No, I haven't.
I think if you guys haven't, you should because it looks. A lot of people are saying post-apocalyptic is saying what New York is going to look like. A lot of people compare it to I Am Legend once this whole thing is done. Man, if having mannequins is your friends or fans in the stands this is some I Am Legend shit right here. I'll tell you that. It's weird. It's really damn weird. I would love to see though. Maybe we see the NFL if they have to resort to playing without fans in the stadium. Can we get a Lambo leap into a pile of mannequins? Maybe. Probably not. No. It's not worth it, man. I think it's funny. I think it's creative. I'll give them that. Taiwan's being very creative with this. They even had like fake dogs in the stands for whatever reason. But they got the mannequins looking good. They got the team hats. They got the team jerseys. Some of them got scarves. Some of them got flags in their hands. They should give a mannequin with the foam finger. They should even give them personalized signs to hold up the whole time. I think that'd be great. Some people are dealing with this whole crisis differently than others, and I think Taiwan they got one thing figured out, but I don't know if that's the best option, really.
Yeah, let's hope that this Rona stuff ends real soon so we can get rid of those mannequins.
You're saying you don't like having mannequins in the stands? But it's a bad thing, though, because they're not setting a good example because those mannequins, they're sitting right next to each other. They were not 6 feet apart. Gross. Absolutely
no social distancing going on.
No social
example.
Unexcusable. Unacceptable by Taiwan. Disgusting act. Jeez, dude. What about the story of Ticketmaster screwing over anyone that actually uses them to buy tickets from, man? Ticketmaster is a joke. Let's not even talk about all their BS fees, all the stupid stuff, all the extra stuff that they want to throw on top of it. Their lack of tickets sometimes too as well. Tickets being so expensive. I'm like paying $60 to sit in the outfield at A's game. Come on, man. You can't be charging me that kind of stuff where I can just go into the team website and find better ones. But they're once again making their policies even worse because recently now they're no longer offering refunds on postponed shows. So, hey man, you bought a ticket a month ago or two before, or a couple of months ago before all this thing was going on, and you're holding on to it because the event hasn't said anything, and you just haven't gone around to refund your ticket or whatever, and they postpone it, and now you can't go. Well, you're SOL because the Ticketmaster has decided just to leave you out to dry, and it's a bad look. It's a bad look by that company, isn't it?
I don't. On the surface, yes, it's a bad look, but if you do some research and you just unclench your fist and unclench your teeth and just take a deep breath, woosah, do some research and find out that the money that you're purchasing your tickets with and sending to Ticketmaster, it is not getting deposited into Ticketmaster's accounts. It's going to the venues of wherever the shows are being held. So your qualms, your problem does not really necessarily lie with Ticketmaster directly. Mm-hmm. It's more so with the venue of whatever event you purchased. Mm-hmm. So in these cases, I would just say be patient, and not only be patient, but be persistent as well. First be persistent and then be patient, because you want to make sure you get your money back, but at the same time realize that this is unprecedented. Like, you're not gonna be charged for an event that you do not go to. That's just not gonna happen. That's illegal. You go to jail for that. So don't get your panties in a bunch with all of that. Headlines can be very misleading. Ticketmaster, they're gonna figure it out. I mean, I have a show personally that I was supposed to be going to the 25th of this month.
And what was that?
A couple weekends. It was going to be it's called Swan Fest. It's a show that is held by Dance Gavin Dance, their Sacramento band. Okay. And they throw like a music festival now every year. And
not this year.
Yeah. Not well, actually it is still going to go down. It's going to be
really
so they postponed that event, sent out multiple emails to let me know. Ticketmaster, who I bought it through, sent me multiple emails to let me know, hey, your event's been postponed. It's now at this date. If you have any questions, blah 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 blah. And then gave me a contact number to reach out to if I had any questions, and I definitely didn't, because it was pretty clear.
No, it's really not that big of a deal. A lot of people could get outraged by this, but at the same time, given everything that's going on right now, if you have any doubt and if you can't afford to have that money be like, if you need that money back right now, and you can't afford just to let it ride and wait till that event is eventually put back on, then it's on you to not for planning ahead and not for assuming that hey, this probably isn't going to happen, given everything going on right now and given everything changing every day. It's kind of on the consumer at that point,
Yeah.
But first, I wouldn't buy anything I haven't bought from Ticketmaster in a while, just because they got some high fees for like purchasing fee and shipping fee and handling and all that stuff. I don't want to deal with it. I can find tickets for cheaper. So personally, I don't use it, but I can see why people might have an outcry with this. Blake, I want to save this UFC news best for last, main event of the show, and some fun stuff to wrap up on. And I think you're probably a little more disappointed than me because you're a bigger fan, but we're all devastated by 249 being canceled and being postponed. No thanks to Disney and ESPN. But at least we got some positive news now, right? Big announcement today.
Yeah. Yeah, were you going to go over that, or you want me to get into it?
I want you to take the reins on this one, Blake. I'll let you handle this.
Yeah, so I came across a tweet today that UFC is targeting a May 9th return date for UFC 250, and that's going to be
before we get into it, is it going to be 250? Are they just going to skip 249, or are they going to make this 249?
That's what I think. This is probably just going to be 249, because they never had a 249 event, so they can't. No. I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
Probably remake this one as 249, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the tweet right now that I saw.
Mm-hmm. At least, yeah, Dana giving us UFC fans some hope back.
Yeah, so they didn't give a number. They just said the next event is going to be on May 9th. So that would be
curious.
That would be 249. It wouldn't be 250. But regardless, number doesn't matter. It would be the first event that the UFC throws since this coronavirus stuff took it all down. The proposed card will go from bottom to top.
Yep.
Cerrone versus Pettis. That's Donald Cerrone versus Anthony Pettis.
Fire. Would they do that at the welterweight?
I would say welterweight, because Pettis it seems like he's permanently moved up to welterweight.
I think so too. Cerrone could do whatever. I read them at welterweight anyway.
His most recent fight was at welterweight, so I would assume he would want to cut less weight and chill up there. Francis Ngannou versus Rosenstruik. That's another banger. It's going to be big boys throwing down. I hope they don't get scared of each other and they just actually just try to knock each other's heads off.
See who doesn't listen? Big beefy dudes trying to kill each other.
Weirdos? I don't know. Someone that just doesn't have life going in their favor.
It's a good point.
Amanda Nunes versus is it Felicia Spencer? I want to say.
Yeah,
that could be good. I wanted to see that fight.
But also it could also just be another massacre by Amanda Nunes, the greatest woman fighter of all time.
Her last fight wasn't that great, so I want to see Amanda Nunes go out there and respond, put on a good show, and beat the crap out of somebody. You know, she's a fighter that I really enjoy watching. So I have no problem watching her.
She's amazing.
She's like a Shevchenko, except just another weight class above. So
and
I have no problem watching her beat people up. It's just like a John Jones. It's just like a Anderson Silva. You know, I like watching the best go to work.
Exactly. Couldn't say it better.
So co-main event, Henry Cejudo, Triple C, King of Cringe, versus Dominic Cruz.
Hey, did you know that Henry Cejudo has an Olympic gold medal?
Didn't know that.
Didn't know that. I don't think he doesn't really like to flaunt it. Doesn't like to brag about it.
He doesn't bring it up enough.
No. But everyone, I'm just letting you all know, he does in fact have a gold medal from the Olympics. FYI.
So Dominic Cruz getting this fight is a little bit of a head scratcher, but at the same time, I do see the logic. He in my mind, he does deserve that respect as being possibly. There's an argument for being the greatest bantamweight of all time. He definitely paved the way. Him and Uriah Faber paved the way for this weight class. So I think out of anybody that's ever been in the bantamweight division and possibly ever will be, he is the only guy that I think can come in and rightfully throw his name into the hat for any fight.
Rather see
he's just
Jose Aldo get it, but I understand this booking. I understand it.
Well, at this point, Jose Aldo is not possible, so that's not even.
Yeah.
You know, you can't even. Yeah. You can't even put him in the mix. It's got to be completely American fighters.
This is fine.
But
until Fight Island
Aldo
opens,
could be put in there, then who knows? But at this point, it's clear they're trying to get the fight that gets the most attention, because that's what Cruz is going to bring. He's going to bring attention. Cruz, people tune into Cruz.
He can talk.
He's gonna bring a great presser. He's still, even though he's not fought for 4 years since he got his butt kicked by Cody Garbrandt, he's still been on the UFC like every other weekend. You know, doing commentating, broadcasting, all that stuff. So I can see it, but we'll find out very quickly if he's still a championship material or not.
I don't know. I'm not sold. I still think I'm just going to say Cejudo takes this one. I think Cejudo is one of the more criminally underrated fighters. A lot of people hate on him just because of the whole cringe champ persona.
Right.
And a lot of people end up overlooking his actual ability. But man, that Cejudo Moraes fight last summer was amazing. It was a great fight.
The only thing that I have to bring up to counteract that, though, is Dominic Cruz is going to be bigger than Cejudo. And Dominic Cruz manhandled Demetrius Johnson. If you've not watched that fight, if you haven't had a chance to watch that fight, Ross, which I'm sure you haven't, because
probably not.
I know that you are still slightly a new fan.
Yes.
So let me put you on right now. If you ever wanted to see Demetrius Johnson get his butt kicked, just watch him fight Dominic Cruz. And he didn't really get his butt kicked. He was just kind of man, I cannot think of the word I want to use. He didn't look
like how Demetrius Johnson normally looks.
Yeah, but I wish I could say it in a much cleaner way.
No, I got
neutralized.
I got
he was just completely neutralized. All of his attacks just not very effective. And Dominic Cruz, his size, his length, his strength, it was just too much for him. And so I'm wondering if Cejudo's going to have those same issues, because he is a 125er. He is a little bit smaller. So we'll see if he has those issues. I think it's I think and the thing to counteract that point, I'm counteracting myself now. Cejudo is hitting his peak. He is peaking right now. He is on that climb still, possibly. He still might not have reached the top of where his performances are going to be, because he's just looking impressive.
Yeah, he can't even reach the top shelf.
Well, that too. And Dom, like we've seen his greatness, right? We've seen him compete at the highest level, hold the gold belts, all of that. So we don't know, is he ever going to get to that level again? That's the question. It's not necessarily is he on the decline or anything like that because we don't know. We haven't seen him since 2016, and that's not fair to say he was on the decline then because he was in a championship fight.
Yeah.
But he hasn't fought 4 years.
Hopefully we'll find out soon, right?
Do we know what's going to happen? No. Are we interested still? Yes.
Hell yes.
I'm still okay with that fight. I totally see what they're doing there and get over it. Yeah, Ferguson versus Gaethje in the main event. That's what everyone's been waiting for. It's obviously the one. I'd say it's the 1B for in terms of fights that we wanted to see in that division. That could have been obviously Khabib versus Ferguson was the one to make.
Can't really do much about it for now.
But what's interesting to me is this is May 9th. This card is May 9th. So Ferguson versus Gaethje would be happening May 9th. They wanted to have Conor possibly in a card in July. So I think that takes both of these guys, the way they fight, takes both these guys way out of the picture.
That's why we were talking about last week, man. Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor in July.
That could be a rematch ran in July.
Or you also mentioned
welterweights.
Even better fight, or even probably the more fight that fans would like is the trilogy.
That's what I'm kind of voting for because the Dustin Poirier rematch just doesn't. If he wants to stay in shape, in lightweight shape, in championship kind of caliber shape, and fight Dustin, he could. But then again, Dustin, he's campaigning for a fight against Hooker at welterweight too, so he probably wouldn't mind taking a fight at welterweight as well. So I think Conor, at this point in his career, if he can talk somebody that's smaller, like in the 155 class, into taking a 170 fight, that's what he would do at this point in his career because he's a bigger guy now. He's not the featherweight Conor that we're.
No, he looked good against Cowboy in his return to the octagon. He looked big.
Yeah, so I don't think he wants to cut all that weight if he doesn't have to. So I just don't think a Dustin Poirier fight at 155 even really makes sense because it's just going to muddle up the top of that division again.
Also, Conor might, if you just want to go solely off of what Chael Sonnen has to say, which you could put a lot of weight into what he has to say, but Conor McGregor is arguably besides, because we're assuming that this Masvidal-Usman fight's going ahead, you could probably put Conor McGregor as number one contender, almost damn near.
Well, they damn near gave him the Masvidal fight, so why not?
Hey, but I don't know, man.
Covington. I'll let you get to the next part.
Yeah, I think. But this part, dude, this part would be amazing, though, man. Wouldn't it? This would be one hell of a thing to come back to.
May 9th, that would be a great card.
If that happens, and hopefully we get the live stream going, I would love to have like a Skype party, man. Skype party for the return of the UFC.
That would be fire.
We would have to. But yeah, speaking of Colby Covington, man, let's end this show with this last little bit of news. Let's end it with, I guess, a fun topic. But Colby Covington, the big, brash, outspoken dude who already plays a pro wrestling-like character, is planning on transitioning to the WWE in 2021. This is what he said in an interview, I believe it was a couple days ago. He says that he's planning for the transition, and he's already practicing his in-ring wrestling skills, as well as his promos. I think his in-ring probably needs more work than his promos because, honestly, he's a pretty good talker right now. He plays a great heel gimmick. This is something that he was almost destined for, is pro wrestling, right? Because it's this dude that's been playing a character for the last, few years now? Last couple of years.
Ever since that RDA fight?
So, yeah, like...
Or was it RDA or was it Damian Maia?
It was before that. It was that fight in Brazil when he was making fun of the Brazilians against Damian Maia.
So it was a Damian Maia fight.
Yeah. And that it's that RDA fight that put the interim belt on him that really elevated the shtick.
Yes. That gave him all the credibility he needed.
Yes. The Maia was a kickoff. Then that interim against RDA really, really got that ball rolling.
Yeah, he beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he really did. But, man, I would love to see. I'm interested. I'm really interested in this because he's entertaining as hell in the UFC. I can only imagine what he can do in pro wrestling because UFC they're kind of transitioning into some aspects of pro wrestling in terms of like the marketing of it and like the promoting of it and that kind of style because it's entertaining and it sells. And this is something that Colby Covington is. He might be probably not the best because Conor McGregor is always going to be one of the best guys, but Colby Covington is definitely one of the best promo cutters in the UFC right now. And in a industry and in a setting like professional wrestling, I think he'll thrive. He'll thrive in that setting.
Yeah, I think he's definitely not on Conor McGregor's level, but it's difficult to be on a guy like Conor McGregor's level. He's the best in the business at getting people to talk and having people put clips up of him and what he says.
I can only imagine how many times the "who the fuck is this guy" video
of course
has been viewed.
Right.
Iconic.
Covington. The only thing with him is, and people have said this many a times, nothing just feels natural with him. It just feels very artificial and forced and planned out, thought through. So credit to him for making it all a reality and getting it done, but I still think that it just looks so artificial to me still. But the main thing with Colby Covington is like his skills to me stand out. I think he is an elite level fighter. People try to say that he beat up a washed up Damian Maia, he beat up a washed up RDA. Man, enough with that. He is a good fighter. You saw the way that he fought Usman. I mean,
it was a great fight. It was a phenomenal
an awesome fight.
He just got one punch late in the 5th round.
I mean, Usman was going to win that fight regardless, in my opinion. It would have been really, really close.
I think so. I think if Usman didn't KO him, he would have won.
You think Colby would have won?
I think Colby would have won if he didn't get KO'd.
But yeah, and that's not the point I'm trying to make here. No. The only point I'm trying to make is that Covington is an elite level fighter. But my only thing is he needs to make sure that if he wants to make this transition to WWE, don't go out on the note that like Ronda Rousey went on. Don't go getting knocked out viciously and then kind of running with your tail between your legs.
Well, you forget she got knocked out viciously and she came back and got knocked out viciously again.
Right. And Colby Covington got TKO'd kind of viciously. And now he's going to be getting into a grudge match, most likely with Tyron Woodley. That's the fight to make right there. I mean, it sells. It sucks for them that they didn't do it when they had a belt. That fight should have been signed. They lost money on that one. So that sucks, but that's the fight he needs. If Colby Covington can beat Tyron Woodley in 2020, I think he makes a seamless transition to the WWE in 2021, if that's his goal.
Let's see. I love his quote about this whole thing. It sounds so perfect with his character. He said in this interview, he said, quote, "I want to make sure when I go there, I make the biggest splash possible because I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. And I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. When I go over there, I want to bring truckloads of money." So I think we can all tell what his motivation for this whole transition would be. And with bigger guys too, you make more money in WWE than you do in UFC. And I can see why that's enticing. And it's also it's still physical. There's still a risk of injury, of course, in any kind of athletic thing you do. But you're not. The difference between pro wrestling and MMA is you're not trying to actually kill the other person. You're trying to make it look like you are.
The difference is you're not getting punched in the face repeatedly.
You're trying to make it look like you're getting punched in the face, but you're not. And if you can go to a place where you probably have a longer career and where you're probably going to make more money, it makes sense. It makes sense to me. And that's why this whole trend of UFC and MMA fighters making the transition to professional wrestling is becoming even more popular as time goes on, because we've had one of the bigger names recently was Ronda Rousey, but you also had Brock Lesnar, heavyweight champion. Brock Lesnar, he was in WWE, Then he went to. Do you remember when he was on the team for the exhibition for the Vikings? Remember that?
Who?
Brock Lesnar played for the Vikings
Oh
in
yeah, I remember
preseason.
that.
Yeah, that was fun. Big old number 69 right there.
Yeah, but he
Yes.
sucked.
Yeah, he wasn't that good. But then you had also Colby Covington's friend and teammate, former UFC fighter Bobby Lashley, is also in WWE. Former MMA fighter Shayna Baszler, former UFC fighter Matt Riddle, former another heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez, and a number of big names that are making a splash in UFC and MMA, and also big time names in WWE now as well. And also, you can't forget former amateur wrestler and retired pro wrestler Kurt Angle, who Colby Covington already uses his theme music for his UFC walkouts. And you can't forget about Kurt Angle winning the gold medal in the Atlanta Olympic Games with a broken freaking neck. So there's a precedent to all this, and I think from a financial move, from like a career move, from a health move, it makes sense for Colby to make the transition.
If he's wanted, yeah.
He's wanted. He's wanted. Trust me.
Yeah,
I would.
if he's
I would
wanted, then
watch it.
it's a good move.
I would watch the hell out of it if you can get like some in-ring stuff going. If you can become like a good pro wrestler, I think he could talk. I think I am not in the popular side with this, but I do enjoy his current gimmick. I do enjoy his just kind of a-hole douchey persona, and I think it's entertaining. Same thing. I think that Henry Cejudo is entertaining. I like this kind of stuff. A lot of people don't. Wait, do you, Blake?
Bits and pieces. I think there's certain times, like, that they're putting on an act. So
yeah,
everything that they do, I kind of analyze it a little bit differently than I would, like, with someone. I can't take what they say at face value. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So it's a little bit trickier with them to kind of try and see exactly what they're going for. But sometimes, yeah, it's a little annoying. Like Colby Covington specifically can be a little annoying.
He can be.
Well, Henry Cejudo can for sure be annoying.
He's really good at it.
Not all the time, but yes, most of the time I do enjoy the shticks. It's fun. I like the fighters, finding creative ways to make it more entertaining and put more money in their pockets. So.
See, my bottom line is if you could say something, you can make me smile, and you can make me laugh, and you could captivate me for a few minutes, and I enjoy it. Man, I really don't care what else you say or do.
You just gotta be smooth, though. That's the only thing is Cejudo and Covington are just not that smooth.
It's a little rough, but
they're just a little off.
But I think
Cejudo's gotten a lot better, though. I'll give him that.
Oh, for sure. But this is great for Colby because he's going to be working with WWE professionals. Is probably what it's going to be. And so he's going to be able to practice.
He's going to have a production crew. It's going to be scripted lines. It's not going to. Well, and I'm sure most of what he says is already scripted lines. But he's gonna be paid to practice it, and I
think it's going to be funny.
Have professionals that know how to read scripts. Tell him how to read it.
If we see Colby Covington in WWE in 2021, I'm for sure going to watch that because I think it's going to be. It might not be good, but it damn well is going to be entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably pass on that.
Or it's going to be a total train wreck, just like the show tends to be sometimes. But with that being said, guys, I want to thank you all for joining us with episode 32 of the Fourth and Long podcast. This is Ross Allen alongside Blake Campbell, UFC correspondent. And I think, this isn't bad for there being almost no sports on. We got one hell of a show this week, man. Don't mean to pat myself on the back, but,
Hey, we had horse on this weekend. There's sports returned.
We had horse. We just need Disney not to mess with the UFC again and just make the show go on. And then the world will be all good once more. I see. It's the thing, Blake. Once UFC returns, this whole virus is going to disappear. That's
I think so.
Thing. I think so. It's science.
All that shadow boxing will kill all the viruses in the air.
That's what I'm saying. We're just going to fight the virus. And same thing to you guys. Just, of course, you can find all of our stuff on our website, articles, shows, updates with everything, contact us, www.thefourthandlong.com, Twitter, Fourth Long Radio, Instagram, Fourth and Long Radio. You can find all that fun stuff. Everything will be linked, of course, Spotify, Anchor. Who knows? Might be starting the OnlyFans soon. Just because. Because I don't care at this point. But thank you guys all for listening. And we will catch you guys later this week on Friday.